Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. When I had first made this YouTube channel, pretty much the goal of it was to be transparent with my finances. And if you're a real OG, you would know the first video that I ever posted was how I invest my money making $19 an hour. And I think at the time, after taxes, every single month I was bringing in around $2,200 a month take home. And since then, I've been very fortunate to work my way up in one company and move to another. And now, on paper, I'm salaried right at $120,000 a year. Now, in this video, what I want to do is I want to show you guys exactly what I make to the penny every single month. That way, you would know realistically what a role like this actually pays. Because far too often, when you're on YouTube or Google and you look up, like, what does a $100,000 salary look like? A lot of people will tell you what it looks like, but they don't really get into, what they actually take home on a biweekly basis. And that's what I want to do in this video. And the reason I want to do it is to give you guys realistic expectations, right? If you guys are anything like me, pretty much my goal in life was always to make six figures. I always told myself that I'm going to work hard enough one day where I'll be salaried at $100,000. I prayed for it, and once again, one thing worked out to another, and now I'm at the point where I'm salaried at $120,000. But obviously, because of taxes and insurance and etc., that's not actually what I take home on an annual basis. Now, first thing I'll go over is my pay structure. That way, the majority of this makes sense. So my pay structure is a little bit different from your typical pay structure. I'm actually salaried at $85,000 a year. However, I get OTE earnings up to, I think it's like 30 to 35%, which puts me right at $120,000 a year. Now, if you don't know what OTE means, basically that means on target earnings. So if a company or if the company I work for hits certain financial, KPIs or numbers, I get a monthly bonus. However, I'm in a very fortunate position where my OTE earnings, they actually reflect my KPIs, which if you don't know what that means, that is key performance indicators. And luckily, my KPIs are my job description. So I say all this to say, as long as I'm doing my job, I get a full bonus. So the way my pay structure looks is on the first of every single month, I get one paycheck and I get one bonus. And then on the 15th of every single month, I get a paycheck. So I get two paychecks on the 1st and the 15th, and then I get one bonus on the 1st. So how much do I actually make? Let's not waste any time. So for paycheck one, I'm going to put this little Excel spreadsheet on the screen here so it's a little bit easier to track. But paycheck one, I'm going to do the 15th paycheck first. That way I can show you guys, the first day of the month paycheck and bonus next to each other. So on the 15th of every single month, I get paid before taxes or anything comes out. This is just like gross pay on, my, internal company website. It is $3,554.16. Now, the nice thing about being a salaried worker is that I only work 40 hours a week. I've rarely worked any overtime, and paycheck number two is exactly the same. So both paychecks I get, because I'm salaried and I work 40 hours a week, it's the exact same. So paycheck one, 35.54.16. Paycheck two, 35.54.16. Now, my bonus, once again, this is before tax, a 100% bonus for me, so this is a full bonus, is $28.33.33. So if you take all three of those numbers and you add them up on a monthly basis, that means gross income, I make $99.41.65. And if you multiply that by 12 months in a year, you get $119,299.80. So right around that $120,000 salary I was talking about. Now, as I've said before, taxes exist, things come out of your paycheck. That's how life works. So I obviously don't actually take home $119,000 every single year. So how much do I actually take home? So let's look at after taxes. Now, here's the things that come out of my paycheck. Obviously, taxes. The next thing is I have full benefits, so medical, dental, vision, etc. I don't pay for any of the extra random insurances. Like I just have your basic normal insurances. Or health benefits or whatever you call it. And then the third thing is I currently contribute 15% of every single paycheck to my 401k. Now, my bonus also gets affected by my 401k. So 15% comes out of my bonus and goes to my 401k. And then also, if you guys didn't know this, your bonuses are actually withheld at a higher rate than typical paychecks. Now, this isn't saying, I lose money by getting bonus, but it is saying that more money up front is being held for my bonus. And hopefully when I file my taxes, I see some of that money back. And I think this is held instantly right around 22%. Bonuses are withheld at a higher rate than typical paychecks. So on the 15th of every single month, after, my 401k comes out, taxes come out, etc., I am left, that hits my account, like my checking account, with $2,329.74. Now, as I mentioned prior, guess what? The second paycheck is exactly the same, literally to the penny, and it is $2,329.74. Nothing crazy. Now, as far as my bonus goes, once again, still the 15% goes to my 401k, gets a little, withheld a little bit more. And this, what it comes out to on a monthly basis, is $16.13.58. Now, you take those three numbers, you add them all up, and on a monthly basis, you get $6,273.06. And then if you take that, you multiply it by 12 months in a year, you get a grand total of $75,276.72, which means, right, after taxes, health benefits, 401k, out of my paycheck on an annual basis, I'm seeing a subtraction of $44,023.08. And guess what? That is a lot of cheeseburgers. But I'll say this to say this. Obviously, the money going to my 401k, that's not like lost money. So I'm just showing this as like a visual. Out of that 44,000, right, a lot of that is going to my 401k. And I'm totally happy doing 15%, right? Like I live a very modest lifestyle. And as I mentioned, up until a year and a half ago, I was making $19 an hour. So doing 15% to my 401k with my new pay is allowing me to catch up on all those years that I wasn't able to contribute a lot of money to my 401k. So I'm totally happy at 15%. Now, the main reason I wanted to make this video was because some of you are probably looking at that 75,000 and being like, wow, that's a lot of money. Some of you are probably looking at the 75,000 being like, wait, so you're on paper, you make 120K a year and you're only left with 75,000 on an annual basis. Both viewpoints are extremely valid, right? Like obviously that might be a lot less money than some of you would think that 120,000, salary pays. To some of you, it might be more money. At the end of the day, what's important, why I want to make this video, is because this is why people out there need to practice financial literacy. Because far too often, we see people who hit a six-figure role, even though they're not taking home six figures, they'll hit that $100,000 salary, 120, 150, and what do? They go buy a new car, they go, lease the nicest apartment they can find, they start buying designer clothes, they start going out every night, they start going to nice dinners because they think they're rich. And guess what? Looking at these numbers, I can tell you guys this. I don't feel rich. I'm very grateful for the amount of money I make. But guess what? I take home $6,200.73 every single month. Imagine if I added an $800 car payment to that. That would hurt my finances a lot. That would really suck if I added an $800 car payment. Imagine if I went and I bought a new house and my mortgage was $3,000 a month. That would cut my pay almost in half, completely in half of how much I'm taking home. So the important thing to take away from this video, and once again, it's not going to be too long of a video, is no matter what amount of money you make, you need to practice financial literacy. Because a lot of people would think, like, if you were anything like me, I always thought the minute I hit $100,000 salary, I'm like going to retire soon. I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini. Maybe I'll buy a Porsche also. I'll buy a new Rolex. I'll be rich. I'll be loaded. And just everything's going to be easier. And while making this much money has made a lot of things in my life a lot easier, does this mean I can go buy whatever I want now? No. Does it mean I can stop saving my money? No. Does it mean I can stop investing my money? No. Does it mean I'm financially free? Absolutely not. I still have a lot of work to do if I want to have financial freedom. So that pretty much wraps up the video. Like I said, not super long of a video. Let me know in the comments down below if this is more money than you thought someone in this salary actually takes home, or if it's less money. If you guys want to know how I got this job, I could make a video on that. And one thing I forgot to mention too, I live in the state of Arizona, so this is based off Arizona tax rate. But yeah, man, practice financial literacy. Just because people have high paying jobs doesn't mean they can stop focusing on their finances, because we see people who do that, and guess what? At the end of the day, they're still broke. So no matter how much money you make, you got to be financially literate. You got to know what you're doing. You got to save. You got to invest. You got to put yourself ahead for the future, because I don't want to work the rest of my life and I want to retire before I'm 60 for sure. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.